I'm sure you saw it from the thumbnail, but like, look at these these cute little, I can hold them in my palm. These are little 4K webcams. And they look surprisingly good too. Like this is a blind test I did with Dustin earlier today. Dustin, come look at the webcams. Don't look at don't try to figure out which one's which. I just want you to look at them. Tell me what you think.
I can be of service. I just ran into a light. The one on the right, to me, looks better. Mostly just because there's more contrast and it looks a lot more natural. Like the colors just look a lot better. The left side things just look kind of like washed out and like soft.
Left one's definitely a little bit more soft.
Yeah.
Okay, the one on the right is the OBSBOT. It's interesting, the one on the left feels like it's picking up more data.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not like the one on the left looks bad.
Like it feels like HDR a little bit.
Yeah.
But just like, this was just plug and play.
Yeah, oh, nice.
Yeah, the OBSBOT was just straight plug in, don't touch anything. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, brother.
I'll be over here.
This is the OBSBOT Meet 2. It's $129. It's 4K, and it's the camera you're looking at right now. What do you think? Real quick, I want to thank OBSBOT, and I also want to thank you guys. OBSBOT has been a huge supporter of the channel lately. We're making a handful of changes and also starting a couple huge projects, and OBSBOT sponsoring a handful of the videos on the channel has been really helpful in funding those things. And then I want to thank you guys for being supportive about doing a handful of these videos. Obviously, like you guys always do, recognize this is a sponsored video. So if you're interested in these, maybe go watch some unsponsored videos before you pull the trigger. Know that I'm gonna be very honest about my opinion on this. OBSBOT has always let me be very free in my opinions on these sponsored videos. So let's jump into it. Oh, shoot. Oh. He's come in 3 colors, the white, the black, and the green. And like you saw, and you've seen many times, they're teeny tiny. Like just for fun, just for reference, this is the Elgato Facecam 2. Look at that. It's, oh man, super fun. That is just wild. And that's not the most important thing about a webcam for most people, but sometimes when you're just trying to mount them in a weird spot, it can be kind of nice to be this small and light. The image quality of these is the most interesting thing though, because you can see right here, it's a high quality webcam, but it's got some interesting high points and low points to the quality. My favorite thing about it is that skin tones and the colors are very natural looking. Lots of times on webcams, you get a very unnatural look. You get some like real teals or greens to them. And I think OBSBOT has done a very good job of making a natural looking webcam. However, I would still say it's got a little bit of that webcam look to it. I don't know if that's intentional or if it's just because it is a $129 webcam, you're not gonna make it look as good as a mirrorless camera. So it does have a tiny bit of that sharpening and contrasty saturated look, but in my opinion, especially when we looked at this side by side with the Elgato camera, I think they put just enough in there that it made it look good out of the box. You don't have to do a lot of tweaking to this webcam to make it look decent. The Elgato Facecam Mark II that was released recently goes a little bit further in terms of flat profile and natural colors, which allows you to tweak the colors a little bit more. But it also can sometimes mean you have to tweak the colors a little bit more. Just plugging these both in side by side, we actually really liked the look of the Meet 2. It also looks just fine in low light. You start to get a little bit of noise in the background, mostly because of the sharpening, and you start to lose some details in the face, but it's totally usable. And in fact, I would say, and I hope you agree with me looking at this shot right here, I think as long as you know how to light something properly, or even moderately properly, I think you'll get a good enough quality image, a 4K image, to shoot a YouTube video if you want on this thing. I mean, I'm doing it right now, but I don't know, does this look like garbage? Let me know. Autofocus was also pretty impressive on this for a webcam. It's got phase detect autofocus, which if you don't know what that is, basically it is the premium technology for autofocus on mirrorless cameras. Like my $2,000 DSLR mirrorless camera uses phase detect autofocus. We did some tests. I ran backwards and forwards and then we watched the footage. I feel like moving towards the camera, it clicks in real fast. When you go further away, it finds it for just a split second.
Yeah, it does
a little real quick, but it finds it fast. That was a pretty extreme example.
Yeah, but for a webcam, like it's still really good.
It's really good for a webcam.
Yeah.
We noticed it had a tiny bit of that focus pulsing that you get, but only when running backwards. Also, you're probably not going to be running backwards and forwards on your camera. So for a webcam, I thought the focus was very impressive. But since this is OBSBOT, we need to jump into features more than just quality, because features is one of the things they do best. They added a PTZ auto framing tech. Even though it's not a PTZ camera like a lot of their previous cameras have been, because it's 4K, it still gives you high enough resolution to do it digitally. And it worked pretty well. It can follow you around just like their motorized PTZ cameras. And when punching in, you definitely do notice that loss in quality that you get from a digital zoom, but still semi-usable if you're using it for some kind of Zoom presentation or some meme stuff. One of my favorite features they added to this is it's a little thing, but I think it's actually a big thing. When you turn the camera on its side, it just automatically changes the orientation of the camera inside OBS. You don't have to go into the settings and vertically type in the resolution or anything. It just auto adjusts for you. And even though I think this is a good enough camera to be used as a main camera, especially for budget streamers and content creators, I think that's what it's going to be used for the most. I think it's going to be a second camera that content creators use as vertical streaming is becoming more popular. Twitch vertical is coming out soon. We've got YouTube vertical streaming. I think a lot of people are going to pick up one of these, mount it vertically next to their monitor, either using the quarter 20 that's built in or the magnets that are inside there, and have that be their vertical camera. Especially if your main camera is just too narrow to be cropped into a vertical format. Yeah, just use one of these guys. But speaking of a narrow field of view, I think this is probably my biggest critique against this thing, is that its field of view is also a little bit narrow. It's at 70 degrees, just a little bit narrower than most mid-range webcams. It does have an omnidirectional microphone built into the front, which is something that they wanted me to bring up in this video. I think it sounds fine for a Zoom call. It sounds a little bit better than a webcam microphone. This is the built-in microphone for the Meet 2. I think it's probably better than most webcams. It'd be great for a Zoom call. What are your thoughts? Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Leave them in the comments down below. It's not anything good enough to write home about, but also most people with webcams aren't really using microphones built into them anyway. So that's just kind of a thing. But other than that, these things are incredibly easy to use. They're plug and play. You just plug them in and they work. They have a little stand that goes on top of your monitor that this magnetizes to, and it can magnetize in any direction on that. They come with a little magnetic lens cap, which is nice, but you're probably gonna lose it very fast. The only problem I had with it was the USB 2 cables that these came with sometimes didn't work. Like, I couldn't get them to show up, but then when I switched to a USB 3 cable that I owned, they work just fine. And the OBSBOT software comes with all the interesting bells and whistles that all their webcams do. For example, a digital background blur or bokeh. They even have their own native background blur, or you can use the NVIDIA one if you have that downloaded. You've got a handful of beauty filters as well as image color filters, all the things. And all of these software features, including the Zoom stuff from earlier, can be controlled with a Stream Deck using hotkeys. If this webcam were like $180 or $200, I'd say there's nothing really special about this at all, but this is a $129 webcam. I think what OBSBOT has really done here is they've brought the features and the quality of a mid to high mid-end webcam, and they've brought it down to a super budget price that anyone can afford. And I think that's great. And let me know, just based on this image right here, if you agree with me or not. I don't know if Dustin put like a color filter on this. If you didn't, throw one on right now. If you did, take it off so they can see the raw image. I don't know. Just show them what this thing's capable of. Hey, Dustin, these colors look really good. So we're gonna put them on your website and make it free to download. Streamers, if you want to try these colors in OBS on your streams, link down below, Dustin's website. It's free. Download it, throw it on, whatever you want. That's all. Back to the video. And while Dustin's doing that, go down and hit the like button and comment your favorite emoji down below for engagement. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, if you like these videos. You obviously did like it because you're, it's the very end of the video and you're still watching. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like these webcams. And as always, happy streaming.